All right, welcome back to the part 67. I'll try to make more videos, all that crap. All right, so we're talking about Lynn Montgomery, the class of 1968. Yeah. All right, so the interviewer asks, what's your name and what's your graduation year? Lynn Montgomery, 1968. There's Linn, but it's Lynn. You guys can't spell. The interviewer asks, do you remember any major historical moments in your high school career? The Beatles came to America. What was the atmosphere of school like? Everybody was gung ho for sports. The gym was sold out every night. Were you at the games? I was at student manager. I was only 5'4" on my senior year, so I was a little dude. What did you enjoy most about your high school career? Helping take care of all the sports and traveling with the teams. Were you close with the players? Yeah, very close. I knew every one of them. What was your favorite class? My favorite class was probably math class with Dr. Albert Albans. Was he also your favorite teacher? Probably teaching? Yes, my favorite. But my favorite administrator was probably Mr. Malloy Kovac. He taught driver's education. I didn't have him for driver's ed. He was in charge of the students' managers. I helped grade his tests. What were some places you went with your friends for lunch? We didn't go out to lunch. We ate here all the time. I don't know, they were only two restaurants close. So I think there almost everybody I knew stay here to eat. What were some other places you hung out at? The oil change place used to be the Red Barn, and we used to hang out there. They made buttons all the kids could wear with the team pictures on it. We were ranked number on with the state, with one with the state. Do you remember who the principal was? Judson Earn. Did you do any senior projects? We didn't have any senior projects that I remember. What was it? What was the yearbook look like? It said 1968 log. It was just kind of a general looking out on the outside. It had everybody's pictures and lots of sport pictures. How many people were in your graduating class? 809 is what they told us at the reunion. I asked him how they got the number and said that they counted the pictures in the yearbook. How was your experience? I really enjoyed it. Mr. Sterling was the coach of the course. He got me interested when I went to Indiana State. I was a manager there because what I learned here, and that I coached basketball for 40 years at Central Middle School. Why did you choose to participate in that activity? To try it out for the team that was too short. It got cut. I became the manager. My brother was also the manager before me. So, what was your favorite part of being involved? I got to learn everything about basketball. Me too. Even though I couldn't play, I could still be the part of a team. I actually was in a team, actually. I was in that team at Columbus North High School. It was a good experience. How have you seen North change? I've seen a lot of changes. I worked as a teacher for 2 years, and I also taught summer school PE at North, at Central, a bunch of things that were moved co-ed. Now they are separated. Were copped. Did you do swimming then too? We did have swimming in the middle school. What was the defining moment of your school experience? My school experience, I guess, would be my math classes for my freshman year. A group of us were picked in that class called Modern Math, and the following year, the entire state adopted that book. See, I told you Bear was freshman, 1968. You guys should know that. We were in experimental class. It was a pretty neat. Did you enjoy it? I loved it. I taught math for 15 years out of my 40. In your opinion, what made your time at North great? You need to begin to manage because nobody else does that. I had keys to the gym. I got out last period every day to go work over and work in the gym. I got to play on the catwalk above events. All right, thank you. That was kind of short, but okay, I'll take that. Lexi Dykes. I'll be doing her next on part 68. Okay? Part 68. Lexi Dykes. Class of 2015. Yeah, she's young, so you'll be learning a lot about her. Okay, so previously I was going to um, read this part. Let's get started. I just ate popcorn and I ate some. I'm just eating some popcorn at 3 o'clock in the morning, even though it's 4. I don't mind it being like that. Residents of such ethnic enclaves not only live together, but they often work together as well. For example, in the 1890, about 90% of the workers constructing canals and other infrastructure from New York City Public Works Department were Italian immigrants. Similarly, in Chicago, virtually all the city workers were Italian. The Lower East Side of Manhattan was dotted with sweatshop factories where many Jewish immigrants worked in the garment industry. Manufacturing clothing. By 1880, San Francisco was home to more than 7,500 Chinese run commercial laundries. I told you about that too. Just as newly freed African Americans built a sense of community by forming churches, founding schools, and creating newspapers for more people. Immigrants would work to build their own support systems. As immigrants settled in ethnic communities, the residents established their own institutions such as newspapers and churches. They also formed mutual aid societies such as Chicago's Italian Società Unione Fratellanza, the Society of Unity of Brotherhood, founded in 1866. In San Francisco, the society is called Huygens. I don't know if that's how you say it or not, but let me know. Helped new Chinese immigrants find employment and provide public services such as fire safety and sanitation. Mutual aid society served to share advice and friendship, help newcomers and get settled, have to help one another survive difficult times. Immigrants established banks, grocery stores, libraries, and religious centers and other institutions in their ethnic neighborhoods. Living conditions. That's part 4. The greatest evil which ever befell New York City was the division of the blocks into the lots of 25x 100 feet. For from this division has arisen the New York system of tenement houses, the worst curse which ever afflicted any great community. Architect Ernest Flagg, 1857 1947. Great prison like structures of brick, which narrow doors and windows, cramped passages and steep rickety stairs. In case of fire they would prefect death traps, for it would be impossible for the occupants of the crowded rooms to escape by the narrow stairways. Smithsonian American and Art Museum. The Tenement Houses Act of 1901 hoped to improve conditions for tenement renters. The law required the removal of outhouses and the installation of indoor plumbing and lighting. These improvements proved costly, and many landlords fought making the necessary changes to offset in cost. Landlords increased the rent of their tenements. For those who could not meet their rent, they were quickly removed from their homes. Their belongings rarely dumped on the sidewalks. This led to rent wars between landlords and tenants who protested the increase in rent. 5. Working conditions. You will need headphones for stations. Read the introduction below and use your phone to take a picture of your QR code. Watch a video from your QR code. If the living conditions were crowded and unsafe for immigrants, working conditions were not as much better in the 90s. The United States was the most dangerous country in the world for industrial workers without the government regulation. The factories were often poorly lit and unsanitary, or machinery was not regularly serviced. Factory workers performed the same repetitive tasks for 10 hours or more a day, 6 days a week. Immigrant work, immigrant women and children made up large percentage of factory workers. They did a lot of work in places like the Lower East Side. They were paid less than and worked similar long hours, sometimes with the heavy machinery and equipment by 90s or 90s. Early 1.7 million children were employed in factories. Workplace safety in the factories is often overlooked. Employees were usually not held responsible for on-the-job injuries until workers' compensation insurance became common in the 1910s. It was cheaper for factory owners not to make safety improvements. From your discovery book. Here's a QR code if you want to take a picture of that. 6. The Chinese Exclusion Act. Except from the Dalian Tribune, May 12, 1882. Chinese Bill. The bill signed by the President on the 8th instruction, entitled An Act to Execute Certain Treaty Stipulations relating to Chinese, provides in the first section for the suspension of the immigration for Chinese laborers to the United States for a period of 10 years, counting for expiration of 90 days after passage of the Act. That in for the 10 years of the 30th day of July 1882, the second section provides for the punishment of masters' vessels who shall land in the U.S. Chinese laborers in violation of section first. Why is it not going down? Why? Stop. Sorry. Pardon me. I don't know why my computer does that. Alright, anyway. By a fine of $500 for each immigrant and an imprisonment not exceeding 1 year, Section 3rd provides for certificates. You can watch the videos for that. For indignity for Chinese laborers now in the country who may wish to visit China and return. Section 12. Can you stop doing this to me? Can you stop? Hey, can you stop? I'm trying to do a video here. Can you not? Can you stop? Stop. Okay, stop. Stop. All right, here we go. Section 12 makes it the duty of the President of the United States to cause to be removed to the place where whence they came, and at the cost of the United States, every Chinese person who shall have unlawfully entered this country by land or water, after being brought before some justice or judge or commissioner of the court of the United States. Section 13 exempts diplomatic and other officers of the Chinese government and their body in the household servants from the provisions of the act. The two following sections are the ones against which so much options or oppositions has been shown by the Republican congressman. Section 14, that hereafter no state or court no state court or court of the United States shall admit Chinese to citizenship, and will have laws in conflict with this act or are repealed. Section 15, that the words Chinese laborers, wherever used in this act, shall be construed to mean the skilled and unskilled laborers and Chinese employed in mining. Words to know. Stipulation, another word for requirement. Provisions, another word for arrangement. Whence, from a place of source, another word of where. Opposition, another word for conflict or disagreement. The bill signed by the President of the on the 8th entitled An Act of Execute Certain Treaty Stipulations Relating to the Chinese provides in the first section for the suspension of the immigration of Chinese laborers into the United States for a period of 10 years, counting for expiration of 90 days after the passage of the Act, that is from 10 years and from the 30th day of July 1882. The section of provision provides for the punishment of masters of vessels who shall land in the U.S. Chinese laborers in violation of this section first, by a fine of 500 for each immigrant imprisonment, not exceeding for 1 year. Section 4 provides for certificates for identity for Chinese laborers now in the country who may wish to visit China or in return. Section 12 makes it duty of the President of the United States to be caused to be removed to the place or whence they came. This will remind you when I told you about this part. And at the cost of the United States, every Chinese person who shall have unlawfully entered this country by land or water, after being brought before some justice or judge or commissioner of the Court of the United States, can be land or water. Section 13 exempts diplomatic and other officers of the Chinese government and their body and the household servants per the provisions of the Act. The two following sections are the ones against which so much opposition has been shown by Republican congressmen. Oh, is that it? Section 14. That hereafter no state court or court of the United States shall admit Chinese citizenship, and all laws in conflict which is this act are repealed. Section 15. That the words Chinese laborers, wherever to be used in the act, shall be constructed to mean both skilled and unskilled laborers and Chinese employed in mining. Alright, I'm gonna do like two more assignments, but I'll say that part for the 68 if it's too much. Primary source assignment. Hi, what is your primary source? Primary sources are used as examples to look back and view history how we have grown from it. Primary sources document life, tension, and successes, defeats the good and bad. What was the one success, defeat, good or bad that changed your life? The source has to be at least one paragraph long. A paragraph consists of 5 well-written sentences. This assignment is worth 15 points. Comment down below what do you like I told you that question, like I asked you. Exploration questions. Biogeochemical cycles. Please include the cover sheet at the top of your problem set. On a separate sheet of paper, just like Mr. Brandon always says, answer all of the following questions, write short answers, create lists or tables, or draw diagrams to complete the questions in the best way possible for yourself. What does the term biogeochemical mean? For a biogeochemical view, what does the term reservoir mean? Reservoir mean? I'm not sure if that's how you say it. What does this term reservoir mean? What is residence time? What are the 4 major reservoirs on the Earth? Why must elements be recycled for the different spheres? What are the major differences between gaseous cycles and sedimentary cycles? You can look it up. List of major biogeochemical cycles. How are the cycles related to one another? What are some of the important processes of the cycles? Where is the greatest amount of carbon stored? How much is currently, I believed, to be stored in that reservoir? You can read the rest of this. All right, just to remind you guys that, yeah, just to remind you guys that, I'll be uploading 2 videos or 3 videos today on my main channel. So if you guys want to check out my main channel, you can. I'm not gonna brag you about my main channel because I'm not fully ready to use my main channel yet, even though that you guys can still subscribe to it. I don't mind if you do that. It's not gonna it's not gonna like it's not like Seven Supergirls or something like that, but it's just like you can if you guys have any questions, just let me know and I'll be answered for you right away. And I'll see you guys in a part 68.